Hello everybody. Today we're going to be resolving a vector into its given components. In order to do this, we're going to be using the GRASS method or GRASS method. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down what we are given in this question. Well, the first thing that we notice is that we are given that the vector W is equal to 86.00 kilometers east, 35 degrees south. So we're given W as a vector is equal to 86.00 kilometers east, 35 degrees south. Before we begin this question, just take a look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. So I'm just going to make a quick note of that over here. 4 significant figures, which means our answer is going to have 4 significant figures as well. The next thing that we're required to do is write down what is required of us. So read the question. We are required to find the perpendicular components of that vector. So if we have a vector, we know that it's broken into an x and a y component, so we need to find wx is equal to what, and wy is equal to what. Next, we should write down our analysis of this question. So our analysis is going to be something like this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the vector. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be labeling the x and y components. The third thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be using trigonometry to find the x and y components. And that should give us our final answer. So, let's draw the vector. We notice that W is equal to 86.00 kilometers. So I'm going to take out my ruler and I'm going to set a scale here. I'm going to say that 1 centimeter is going to be equal to 10 kilometers. Therefore, our scale should look something like this. I'll label this as scale. 1 cm is equal to 10 kilometers. So if we go to draw this vector, we should have a vector that is 8.6 centimeters long. Let's take a look at the direction of this vector. It's going to be eastwards, so our vector should be pointing from here towards the east, and it's going to be 35 degrees south. I'm going to do a rough sketch of this, but you should be doing this in PowerPoint or on the computer just to make sure that it looks good. So 1 centimeter is 10 kilometers, so our vector should look like this, 8.6 centimeters long. And the arrow is pointing in that direction. And we can label this as 86.00 kilometers, and this is the vector W. Okay, so we drew the vector. Let's label the x and y components. So I'm going to label the x components here in teal, and those are going to be facing eastward. Okay. So let's draw a dashed line to show the x component of the vector, and let's draw a dashed line to show the y component of the vector. Great. The next thing that we need to do is we need to write down whatever this angle is. Well, the angle that we're given is 35 degrees, like so. Okay. Now we just need to use trigonometry to find the x and y components. So the next thing we need to do is we need to write our solution step. Well, we can use the equation that Wx is equal to, well, the length of W multiplied by the cosine of 35 degrees. And we're going to find Wy is going to be equal to the length of W times the sine of 35 degrees. But we just have to be careful because Wy is pointing downwards, so I'm going to put a negative sign in front here. This just shows that Wy is pointing down in this direction. Okay? So take out your calculator. The length of W is 86. We're going to multiply that by the cosine of 35, and our answer will be 70.447. Rounding that off to 4 significant figures, our answer should be 70.45 the units are going to be kilometers. For the y component of the vector, we're going to put in negative 86 multiplied by sine of 35 degrees, and we should get 49.3275. That's a negative 49.33 kilometers, keeping into account that we have 4 significant figures, because that is what we were given in the question. The final thing that you need to do is you just need to write a statement indicating that you understand what you have just solved for here. So your statement should look something like this. The x component of W is 70.45 kilometers, and the y component is negative 49.33 kilometers. And that's everything that you need to do in order to solve a vector component problem.